Welcome back to the National Hopes. I'm joined by Frank Rogers.
Hey.
Welcome, Frank. Big match this one. Talk us through it. Both players on 3-1, I believe.
Yeah, Victoria Zhang and Kathleen Yeung both on 3-1. Kathleen Yeung beat. Who did she beat? Sorry, I lost my notes.
I think it was against.
She had a big win against Sanul Kim.
Sanul Kim, yeah.
Yeah, it's against Sanul Kim. She won 3-0 to be in a very good position. This is a match that will count at the end. It could be for the second or third spot. So yeah, very big match coming up at table 1.
Richard. Run upstairs. Give this to John and Shermaine.
On table 2 we have Connie Psioyos and Jasmine Wu, who are both undefeated, so very big match here as well. Table 3 is Hanyul Kim against Phoebe Ho. Table 4 Yijin Su against Talisha Gaeta, and on table 5 Eugene Hong against Zara Badcock. Both players looking for their first win in this first round. Victoria Zhang finished fourth at last year's Nationals under 11s. Played a very good tournament. She has a very fast game with a very good long side spin serve that she can do pretty much anywhere on the table. Kathleen Yeung plays pretty fast as well. Very good backhand block, and with forehand she tries to hit quite hard. So two styles that are pretty similar. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
Another family of table tennis. Kathleen Yeung's older brother, Alex Yeung, one of the national squad members. So the family know all about the table tennis systems. Off to a good start here, Kathleen.
And that's the serve I was talking about, the long side spin, back spin.
Absolutely.
That is very challenging for the opponent.
You said there were
We're probably going to see a lot of rallies like this with both players hitting quite hard. It's going to be a matter of positioning the ball as well as they can, trying to stay away from the power zones in the bat, try to go a little bit wider or right to the elbow. We'll see who will be able to do it better. So far Kathleen seems to be this player.
bit of a surprise result here, Frank, or is it a 50-50?
I think it's a 50-50. In the second set, if Victoria can start from low vol, it should be a lot closer. But leading 5-0, Kathleen just kept her advantage for the rest of the set here.
I feel like the speed of Yeung is a much quicker game, or with her feet keeping up. See if we can get a bit of a change there from Victoria in the next set. On table 2, Connie Psioyos down 5-9 against the Western Australian
Jasmine
Wu, who defeated Ijin Hisui in that earlier round. So Jasmine Wu undefeated. And on table 3, Queenslanders.
Hanyul Kim up 1-0-4-2 against Phoebe Ho, while Talisha Gaeta and Yijin Su just started, and it's 9-8 in the first set to Eugene Hong against Zara Badcock.
Actually, it's 1-1, Frank. Oh, that one there, yes, sorry. I thought you meant the Ijin Hisui one. My fault, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, 2-0. Another quick start. Is that side spin serve?
Yeah, that's the one
to the net. I think she's got to keep playing that serve, Frank. That's her weapon.
Yeah, that's her main weapon. I think that in this match, the goal is to make the opponent open up in the worst possible conditions. They both have a counter-attacking game, so it's probably not about opening up first here, but making the opponent open up without too much quality, and then they will be able to hit both sides. exactly like Kathleen did right now with the half long serve to Victoria's forehand.
Technically, both players look pretty good. Good future ahead of both girls, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's interesting watching that side spin serve, Frank. I mean, it's an interesting stage of development for these kids where, you know, if they've got a strength and it can win matches, absolutely, you've got to keep working it in the important moments, but developing more skills in the matches where you might have a bit of a buffer.
Yeah.
It's an important part of the development process, and having a coach in your bench to teach you those things.
Yeah, it's a very important thing. I wanted to ask you a question about coaching at this young age. I feel like we see a lot of players at this age serving long, trying to be active with the backhand or pivot. Do you think it's the right way? Do you think we should try to serve a little bit shorter, or should we try to engage the game as early as possible and try to put a lot of pace in the ball?
I think it's more just sort of watching the trends of international table tennis and following what the trends are. So in female table tennis, yes, there's a lot of fast serves, long serves, whereas in the boys it might be more like 40-60 or 60-40 for the short serve.
Yeah.
But again, taking the trends from international table tennis and encouraging to do that. So opening up from the backhand for girls, not just pushing every receive. For the boys, using your backhand flick, having two sides working, not one. In saying that, I mean, there are, as I said, that's why I pointed out the importance of using your best skills as much as possible to win matches.
Yes.
Or creating buffers is what I'd call it, you know. So I think it's all about sort of, you know, for example, winning your first round, or, you know, getting your tournament off to a good start here if you're one of the more fancied players, top 2 seeds. And then in the second match, maybe winning the first set, making sure you're in control of the match, and then testing different areas and developing different areas and practicing different areas. But also in losing matches, you can gain valuable experience. So if you're down 2-0, sorry.
The second set went Kathleen's way, 12-10. She starts to find solutions against Victoria's long serve, so it's going to be interesting to see what variation can Victoria bring to the table in the third set.
Yeah, I think it's these sort of moments, to get back to that question you're asking. You're down 2-0, and I think the experienced coaches start to pick whether, and you know your players so well at this point, that do you have the current skill to keep forcing the win, or do you start switching to development mode? And I think that's the interesting part. You know, I think parents find that one the most difficult when they're in the bench of children, because you keep encouraging to do things to win versus, you know, now starting to practice things that may be outside of your comfort zone. So for example, that's good. It's a new serve, I think, Frank. That's a different serve for the match.
Yes, the shovel serve.
The shovel serve, but now maybe changing it to, let's just say as an example, I'd like to see you serving more short with no spin or top spin serves. Oh, I haven't done that before. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to do it, because it might be a tactic to work, but also part of the improvement phase.
Yeah, bringing different skills to the table. It's very interesting what you said about development and winning and losing. And I think that when we lose matches, that's when we learn the most. Most of the time for the players, when they win, you can build on it, but in their heads it's more, okay, I won, everything is wonderful. It's really a matter as a coach to deliver the message when they lose, to learn from this and not do the same mistake again and again. That's the difference between the average players and the very good players. It's the one that can learn from their mistakes and not do them again. Tony Psurios back to 1-all, won the second set 11-6. Hanyul Kim won 3-0. Yi Jian-Su down one set but up 9-5 in the second against Talisha Gaeta, and Eugene Ong up 2-0 4-1 against Zara Badcock from Tasmania. Victoria giving a bit more rotation to the ball. It's a bit spinnier, it's a little bit longer as well. Changing the serve, and the match completely changes.
It's a very good example of what we were talking about, you know, like you're 2-0 down. Just making a little change that fits your player to see if you can improve on the previous sets, but at the same time, in match conditions, practicing something you're not typically doing when you're winning matches.
That's the point you made before about when do you keep pushing, when do you turn into development mode. We see in this age group a little thing can change the match completely.
Yeah, correct.
So for how long are you looking for this little detail, and when do you switch into, okay, let's try to learn, let's try to develop something else. It's a very thin line.
If potentially this set was not working, you might call a timeout from the Victoria point of view and explain after the tactic that you've given, the new tactic, the new development, you might then explain to her how to do it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you just keep encouraging that she's doing it well and this is just a little bit better, so yeah.
A nice push right to the forehand, come back to 2-1.
We'll take a little break.
And Kathleen Yeung introducing the short serve to the forehand, ace on the first serve, quite often a good sign. Short serve to the backhand that wins again. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of those in the fourth set.
Nice backhand. She's really got onto that long serve now.
Yes. And Victoria hasn't used the shovel yet in the fourth set.
But it could also be, and I was lucky enough to catch the last session of your camp here with the kids, and you talked about, you know, doing the same serve but having variations of the serve.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the sort of education here that she almost needs to A, remember, or B, have a coach in her corner to just explain to her that serve still could work. It just needs some slight variations of change.
Yeah, with a serve, if we take the example of the side spin, backspin serve, the placement, where do you place it? You can place it short to the forehand, long to the backhand, short to the middle. How much spin, how much side spin, how much backspin, how fast are you doing this serve? So with one serve, side spin, backspin, you can have endless possible variations, and it's really a matter of finding the right variation at the right time and not letting the opponent getting used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you add another serve into the mix, then the possibilities are even more important. So that's all the game in the serve and return area.
Just on back to the coaching point, I think that's the challenge, you know, like, you know, drilling, and that's what it's called. That's why they came up with the word drills. drilling the child on the habits that are required in matches, although sometimes the child prefers to learn those lessons in a match, but then sometimes it's a bit too late if it's not drilled into them. And I think that's the sort of the balance, or the secret of the balance of coaching at the end of the day with this age.
Yeah, and sometimes a big loss can be the detonator to start applying this in training, you know.
I feel like Connie Zhang's running away with that one.
Yeah, 2-1, 3-0.
Now that backhand's becoming a bit of a fiery backhand, but good receive there from Victoria. 7-8, still anyone's game.
Yeah, change the placement on this one, just the placement, a little bit more to the middle. That wins the point. That's the variation we were talking about.
Nice. Both players very similar, Frank. You said that at the start, and as the game wears on, I'm seeing it. Match ball.
Match ball, Kathleen Yeung to be up before 4-1 in this tournament. And that's it. 4-1 Kathleen Yeung, well done.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Next round starts soon.